I've met everybody now. I'm Dr. Fernandez. To me, honestly speaking, I bring you out here tonight, and I bring you out here as a group because I do not have the time, nor Dr. Alvarez have the time to sit down and truly explain what it is that we have to offer. And too many times, people walk in this office and they have this concept of what chiropractic is and what it isn't, and as a result, they stereotype chiropractic and they say, oh, the chiropractor is a neck pain and back pain specialist. So everybody comes here specifically for neck pain and back pain. So at the end of the day, we're really here because our goal is to improve your health. So I want to talk about what health is and what it is not. So not only do we want to talk about health, but then when it comes to chiropractic, I want to talk about what causes the problems that you have. Because if you come in the door and we fix something and you walk out the door and you continue to do all the same things you've done throughout your entire lives, chances are you're going to continue to create all the same problems you've always had. All of a sudden, we're kind of empowering you as patients to walk out of here and start becoming responsible for your own health. I don't want to be the guru with all the answers. I want you guys to start thinking for yourselves and how can we make your body function at a healthier state. So if we're talking about health, let me ask you guys a question. What is health? Think about it before you answer it. What is health? What do we use every single day when we wake up in the morning to determine whether we're healthy or whether we're sick? What would you tell me? What do most people use to judge their health? How we function. I've been asking this question for how we feel. Magic answer. I've been asking for 20 years and I usually get the same response. Correct me if I'm wrong, but everybody's under the concept that health is feeling good. If you wake up in the morning, you feel spectacular, you're going to say, man, I'm healthy. If you wake up in the morning, you feel terrible, man, I'm sick. Give me a pill or a potion to make me feel great again so I can be healthy. So everybody's under this concept that as long as we're feeling good, we're healthy, and we're feeling bad, let's take a drug. When I'm done here today, I'm going to ask you the same question and see if we're still thinking along the same lines. Let me ask you another question. Based on what you've been taught, what would you say is the healthiest position or the proper position to sit in a chair?
Back straight.
Everybody's changing their posture. Imagine that just for this little talk right here, I have a wall right here full of books. And these books are going to be written by the best professors of the best universities, the best scientists, the best medical doctors, the best chiropractors. And everything we've learned about the human body is going to be in these books. Now these experts dedicated their entire lives to studying the human body. And all of a sudden, if we want to learn how to sit, let's ask the experts. And the experts tell us that we need to be sitting upright, straight up. Your chin has to be parallel to the ground. Your arms have to be by your sides. Your back needs to be firm against the seat back. Your legs should never be crossed, and both feet need to be flat on the ground. That's what the experts say. Is that the way everybody always sits? Why do you sit the way you normally sit? And where does the comfort come from? It comes from you. So your body puts you in a comfortable position. Slouch down, 3 pillows behind your head, legs crossed in a recliner watching TV. The experts tell you you're supposed to be sitting in this proper position. Who should we pay attention to? The expert that dedicated his life to studying the human body, or that little voice inside your body that puts you in a comfortable position?
Depends who's watching.
Well, what we're actually saying is that these two theories conflict each other. Somebody's right, somebody's wrong. Either one, your body has no idea what it's doing through that comfort. Maybe the experts are not 100% correct when they tell you to sit upright. Let me ask you another question. How much water are we supposed to drink every day?
8 glasses.
And how do we know that?
By the experts.
From the experts.
Some experts telling you got to drink 8 ounce glasses of water a day. But now they have it really scientific. Because now it's half an ounce.
Half your body weight.
Half an ounce for every pound of body weight. So if you weigh 100 pounds, you need 50 ounces of water. We really got this down pat. Is there any way possible that your body can ask you for water? How can your body ask you for water?
When your mouth is dry.
You get thirsty. Now, we didn't have to go to school to learn that when we're thirsty, we drink water, we feel a little bit better, right? So our body's asking us for water through thirst. Does your body's thirst ask you for 8 ounce glasses of water every single day? Or half an ounce for every pound of body weight?
No.
So again, who do we pay attention to? Thirst, experts. Somebody's right, somebody's wrong. So in order to answer this question, let's go way back. Way, way back. Dad, thank you for the sperm. Mom, thank you for the egg. During conception, they both united. We started out with a fertilized cell. Everybody knows how that occurred? Now, this one fertilized cell, everybody started the same way inside mother's uterus. That one cell on its own divided and became 2 cells. Divided again, became 4 cells. And then it rapidly started multiplying. So all of a sudden you had 8 and 16 and 32 and 64. Then there was this magnetic energy that started binding the cells together. And the first thing that's going to form inside mother's uterus is something we call a primitive streak. And this is going to look something like this. So we all started out kind of looking like a tadpole, like I call it. And what this primitive streak is eventually going to become in the fetus, this will eventually become the fetus's brain. This will become the fetus's spinal cord. At this point in development, we don't have glands, organs, skin, hair, teeth, bones, nothing. Just this primitive brain and spinal cord. The next thing that's going to happen, picture a tree. A tree starts out with these roots. From the roots we come up with a trunk. From the trunk we reach out with branches. And at the end of the branches on that tree, everything starts to grow. It could be leaves, it could be flowers, it could be fruits. Everything's growing out here. Picture your body kind of doing the same thing. Let's draw this upright. We start out with this brain and this spinal cord. From this spinal cord, we start reaching out with branches. What are the branches that come off of the spine? Any idea? These branches that are coming off of the spine are called your spinal nerves. And at the end of those spinal nerves, everything in your body started growing. So maybe on this one we grew a heart. Maybe here we grew a lung. Maybe here we grew a kidney. Your skin, your teeth, your hair, your bones, everything in your body literally grows at the end of these nerves. There is nothing that exists in your body that does not have some form of communication with the brain through this nervous system. So your nervous system communicates every cell of your body to the brain. And at the end of 9 months, God willing, I come up with my skinny baby, my hurry-up baby. Now, why do I put this up here? Because the truth is, it still blows me away to think that we all got started with one fertilized cell, and in a period of 9 months, we went from one cell to a baby with an estimated 72 trillion cells making up the human body. All 72 trillion cells came from one cell, except we gave an identity to every single cell, so your hair cells are different than the brain cells, which are different than your lung cells. Then we organized all those cells in the glands or the organs that they're supposed to be, and here comes out this baby, nearly perfect. Now, if this process occurs without ever reading one of these little books, do you guys think your body's smart or you think your body's dumb? Now, this intelligence, we call this innate intelligence. We call this educated intelligence. Everything we learn from mom, dad, Discovery Channel, teachers, whatever it is, education, everything that was programmed into your body, you know, God put something in your body, nobody's going to take it away from you. That's the innate intelligence. Now, science, let me put myself over here with all these experts. Science agrees that this is a miracle. Amazing. But what happens is that from day one, science basically takes this, baby's born, and science says, hey, thanks a lot, innate, we'll take it from here. So once that baby's born, they're going to tell you how much the baby should weigh, how much the baby should measure, how much the baby should eat, how much he should drink, how much he should pee, how much he should poop, how much he should sleep. We're going to tell you everything that this child needs to be normal from day one. Chiropractic, the philosophy is kind of different from day one. See, when that child's born and we bring him into this world, the intelligence that got him here didn't just disappear. If a baby is hungry, what is the baby going to do? I might not understand baby talk, but that child's body has needs from day one. And this child's going to continue to cry until we satisfy the need. Body wants to keep him alive. Now, you guys grew up. You go out and exercise. When you go out jogging, do you have to tell your lungs to breathe deeper because you need more oxygen? You have to tell your heart to beat a little bit faster because you need more circulation? You go to McDonald's, have a Big Mac. Do you have to tell your stomach how long to digest a Big Mac? How much protein we needed today? How much carbohydrates we needed today? How much magnesium, selenium? No. Your body takes that Big Mac, breaks it down into individual minerals, sends it into your small intestine. Your small intestine says, oh, look at that. I do need some magnesium, and I need some sodium, and I need some potassium. And the next day you go to the bathroom and get rid of what you didn't need. If it was a Big Mac, hopefully you get rid of most of it. But what I'm trying to say is that there's an intelligence that's running your show every single day. And to me, at the end of the day, the best doctor that we could ever know is not the medical doctor we've always gone to. It's not going to be me either. To me, the best doctor in reality would be you. If you really think about it, if this intelligence that's running your body worked at 100% of its potential, then your body would always be doing exactly what you needed at that moment in time in your life. Okay? So, if we go back to the beginning, and I said, how much water should we drink every day? Well, this expert says you got to drink 8 ounce glasses of water a day. And what happened was that he studied 3,000 different people, And what he found out was that football players and construction workers needed 16 glasses of water a day, couch potatoes, computer programmers needed 2 glasses of water a day, and he came up with an average of 8 ounce glasses of water for every single person in the entire world, every single day. He has no idea how hot it was today in Miami, what was our relative humidity, did you exercise, how much salt did you have for lunch? The only person that knows what you did is you. So who do you think knows more about how much water you need? Your body or this guy? I'm going to add something to this, because I do want people to start paying more respect to the intelligence that's in the body. But if something was to affect this intelligence or interfere with your body's ability to function, then what ends up happening is that your body might not be giving you clear signals. So your body might be asking you for 3 glasses of water a day when you actually needed 6. All right? If we agree that we have this intelligence in our body, think about it. How could your body talk to you? How can your body tell you something is good or bad, right or wrong?
Signals by what it does.
Beautiful. She said signals. I'm going to call it symptoms. All right? And I'm going to use a different pen because I'm running out of ink. So our intelligence talks to us through symptoms. Now think about this. If your body gives you symptoms, do you think symptoms are good or are they bad?
Good.
They're good. Now I say this and a lot of times people think I'm crazy because I'm sitting here telling you pain is good. I don't like pain. Okay? I'm not saying that it feels good. I'm just saying that if the intelligence of your body gives you a signal, gives you a symptom, the symptom is not the problem. That's the alarm. Let me give you an example. If I twisted my ankle, how's my ankle going to feel? It's going to hurt. Pain, good or bad? Nobody likes pain, but remember, why did my body give me pain? Because of that pain, what am I going to do? I'm going to start limping. The reason why I'm limping is because the intelligence of my body is telling me, hey, you just injured your ankle. And through the pain, it's going to tell me exactly how much weight I can put on that ankle, how much you can bend it, how much you can twist it, what I could and what I cannot do. If I go home, lay down in bed, put my ankle up on 3 pillows and do nothing, I feel better. So if I was ignorant and all I knew how to do was listen to my body's telling me, hey, you just injured your ankle, stay off of it. Now, the next day I get up, I start walking on, that ankle is still killing me. So I run over to an orthopedist's office. Orthopedist comes out, takes an x-ray of my ankle, comes back and says, hey, great news, you have no fractures. I said, yeah, but doctor, my ankle's killing me. And I need to work all day. And my son wants to play basketball tonight when I get home. And he says, don't worry about it, I got something for you. And he grabs a nice little shot of cortisone and he injects the cortisone into my ankle. 15 minutes later, how do I feel? Good. Fabulous. I'm not here to tell you that drugs don't work. Drugs work. Now, he gave me that drug. How do I walk out of his office? Hallelujah. I feel great. Am I healthier? No. What just happened?
That's the symptom.
You numb the pain.
He took away the alarm. Now, by taking away the alarm, what am I going to do? I'm going to go to work all day, and I may even play basketball tonight when I get home. Why? Because I feel good. Remember at the beginning I told you that most people's concepts of health is feeling good? Well, I feel great. Am I healthier? When we start shutting down these symptoms, it scares me because now it's not about feeling good. Now it's about ignoring the intelligence of my body that was telling me stay off of that ankle until we heal it properly. Okay? We've learned a lot in science. I'm not telling you that we're going to throw away all these books. One of the things that we've learned in science is that the only way your body heals is through the process of inflammation. When you send inflammation down to an area, it causes a chemical reaction which destroys the damaged cells, absorbs those damaged cells, and stimulates the formation of totally new healthy cells. During the time that this inflammation is healing the joint, or healing the area, if you have a joint, freely movable, when it's swollen, what happens? It kind of barely moves. So we have inflammation kind of stabilizing your joint, we have inflammation healing your joint, and we have pain telling you what you should and what you should not do during the time that that healing is taking place. Make sense? So now not only are we going to take a shot of cortisone, which is an anti-inflammatory, which we just suppress the body's ability to heal, but it's a painkiller, so we're going to ignore the body's ability to heal while we're damaging the joint. And you know what? That pain might not come back tomorrow. It might even come back next week. In fact, it might be 20 years later, and all of a sudden, you have arthritis in the ankle. Arthritis is a systemic disease. If you truly have arthritis, you have arthritis in every joint. If somebody walks in my office with arthritis in an ankle, maybe arthritis in a shoulder, guess what? Something happened to you 15, 20 years ago, your body never healed it properly, and here you are suffering the long-term effects of that injury. So the goal is not always about just making you feel good. The goal is about understanding why your body's giving you these signals and these alarms, and maybe trying to make sure that the body's functioning right while it's doing it. if you guys drove home tonight, think about what healthcare is in America. We are very good at shutting down symptoms. So if you have a headache, I got something for you. You got heartburn, indigestion, I got something for you. You have a cough, I can take that away. Allergy, sneezing, stomach ache, throwing up, diarrhea, whatever you have, there's a pill or a potion to make you feel better. But if we shut down those symptoms, the concern would be, is what are we avoiding? Think about this. If you guys drove home right now, you pull in your parking lot, and you see smoke coming out of your windows. You hear the fire alarm going off. You call the fire department. Fire department comes out there, puts on all their gear, breaks the door down, runs to the end of the hallway, finds the fire alarm, rips it off the wall, and runs back out to the middle of the street. Did they solve the problem? So what are we doing every time that we turn off a symptom? It's not about just making you feel good. It's about that we just turned off an alarm and we left that fire running. Because if the fire department comes out there and turns the fire off, the alarm's going to turn off on its own. So that's my goal, is every time that there's a symptom, I want to find out what the cause of the symptom is. I don't want to learn how to turn it off. Let me ask you guys a question. If our body is so smart, what would be the purpose of a sneeze? Why would your body ever want you to sneeze? Never thought about it, huh?
Let the germs out.
Beautiful. We have these microscopic cells that surround our respiratory tract. They're called cilia, and their job is to detect any foreign substance that shouldn't be there. So if there was dust in the air and it goes into your nose, all of a sudden you sneeze to kick the dust out. Okay? If it was germs or viruses or bacteria or mucus, you know, kids are great for this. Kids sneeze and all of a sudden all boogers fall out all over the place. That's exactly what the body's trying to do, get rid of all that stuff. So is a sneeze good or bad? It's great for me, terrible for everybody around me, but my body doesn't care about you guys, it wants to keep me alive. So if we sneeze to clean out our sinuses, what are we doing if we're coughing?
Clearing out your throat.
Cleaning out your lungs. If you're throwing up, what are you doing? Cleaning out your stomach. If you got diarrhea, what are you doing? Cleaning out your bowels. So is cleaning good or bad? So now, just follow me here for a second. If we have a person who is sneezing, coughing, throwing up, and having diarrhea, do we say this guy's healthy or do we say he's sick? All right? Just follow me again. This guy does not feel good. I'm not talking about how he feels. This guy does not feel good. But this guy was sick yesterday. Yesterday he felt great. But yesterday a germ, a virus, a bacteria, a toxin, something came into his system that made him ill. If his body was healthy enough to detect the foreign substance and say, wait a minute, you don't belong here, you got to get the heck out. His body's going to make him start sneezing, coughing, throwing up, and having diarrhea in order to return him to 100% of health. That makes sense? So now we have this person sneezing, coughing, throwing up, and having diarrhea. What do we normally do for them? Let's run out to CVS, Walgreens, let's pick them up some Dristan, Robitussin, Kaopectate, Imodium AD, Alka-Seltzer Plus, Pepto-Bismol, Maalox, whatever. Put a funnel in his mouth. Throw all those products down there. 15 minutes later, how does he feel?
Great.
Drugs work. What do we do to his body?
Shut it down.
Beautiful. We put a cork in the top, we put a cork in the bottom, sorry to be so graphic, and we force the body to keep inside of it what the body was trying to get rid of. That's what scares me. If a person overdoses on drugs and we rush him to the hospital, what do they do in the hospital?
Take the drugs out.
Pump his stomach out. If we can get the drugs out of the stomach, we might save his life. If he digests those drugs and absorbs them into his bloodstream, he may die. Well, if you guys went out to McDonald's, I shouldn't be picking on McDonald's all the time. Let's say I treated everybody to Big Macs. And what we didn't realize was that yesterday the freezer at McDonald's was broken. So all the meat went spoiled. But special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun tasted delicious, correct? So we all eat these Big Macs, and everybody's thanking me for being such a big spender and buying Big Macs. We walk out to the parking lot, and all of a sudden, I get a stomach ache. I gotta run back inside. I start throwing up, get diarrhea, feel terrible. We all ate the same Big Macs. Who's healthier between all of us?
Yeah, I guess you are.
I know it sounds crazy because we've been trained to think about health feeling good that we forgot to think logically. But if you really think about it, to me the healthiest person is the first person that gets rid of those toxins. It's not the person that walks around saying, I can eat rocks. Nothing ever affects me. That's the patient that I get scared of. Okay? Because if you took that Big Mac and you digested the Big Mac and you absorbed it into your bloodstream, now you're carrying those toxins around through the bloodstream to every single organ and gland and cell. And when toxins reach a cellular level, they can damage that cell. That can be a free radical, that can be a cancerous cell now. So your immune system has to work twice as hard to be able to identify that cancerous cell and eliminate it before it causes any further damage. But yet you felt great. Just because you feel good doesn't necessarily mean you're healthy. Just because you feel bad doesn't necessarily mean you're sick. You guys have really got to start understanding how it is that this body's working. You know? Symptoms are only alarms. Sometimes you may have symptoms and be feeling exactly what you need to be feeling at that moment in time. And I say, thank God you felt the symptom. Okay? Because your body's probably reacting right now. It's the person who sometimes doesn't react that scares me more. Any questions on this? Starts making a little bit more sense. So now, what does chiropractic have to do with any of this? Remember that tree at the beginning? Roots, trunk, branch. If at the end of this branch we had a bunch of leaves, what would happen to the leaves if I cut the branch? The life source is that tree. Those leaves are alive because they're connected to the tree. Take that philosophy back to your body. Brain, spinal cord, nerve, heart. If I damage that nerve, one of the heart, we got a problem, don't we? Let's say you have 3 or 4 nerves that go to the heart. So we damage one nerve. That heart may continue to function. Now, is that heart working at 100%? Now, here's what's scary about it. 42% of the time, 42% of the time, the first sign, the first signal of heart trouble is a heart attack. 42% of the time, you have a person walking down the street who's never had pain in his chest, never had shortness of breath, never had pain down his left arm, and boom, the guy collapses because he had a heart attack. Was that guy healthy 5 minutes before he had the heart attack?
Thought it was.
He felt great, but this guy may have been sick for 10, 15 years before his heart finally gave out. Okay? So just because you don't have a symptom doesn't mean you don't have a problem. 82% of cancers are identified in routine medical examinations without the person ever feeling a symptom. So a person walks into a general practitioner and says, Doc, I came for my physical, and the guy does a couple tests and he says, oh, wait a minute, I found something we don't like. Just because you feel good doesn't mean you're healthy. Just because you feel bad doesn't mean you're sick. So if there's one thing that I hope you guys take out of here today, is don't necessarily use how you feel to measure your health. It's not a good measurement. There are other things, you know, doctors can take your blood pressure and your temperature and all these other things. There are some signs that we can look at, but don't go based on how you feel. What we want to find is what can possibly cause that interference. So if I look at your spine plays a huge role in all of this. Your spine's job is protect that nervous system. Your brain is totally encapsulated by the skull. It's like a helmet. Your brain becomes the spinal cord. Your spinal cord runs down in between all these vertebrae through your spinal canal to the bottom of our spine. If the brain's up here, spinal cord's in the middle, what are these little yellow branches right here?
I've been staring at it for a while.
Those are the nerves. Okay? Now, imagine that this nerve right here runs over and goes to your stomach. What happens to this nerve if this bone shifts just a little bit out of position? What did it just do to that nerve? It's going to pinch it. It's going to compress it against the vertebrae above. Now, if you bend over to tie your shoes, you might pinch 10 nerves. But the moment you stood up, you unpinched them. That's not a problem. The problem is that if that bone goes out of position and pinches on that nerve and stays on that nerve for days, for weeks, for months, for years, now we got an issue because we're interfering with the signal between the brain and the stomach. The brain is the one that tells the stomach how much acid to produce, how long to digest your food, when to throw up, and when not to throw up. So do you think your stomach is working at 100% if we have that nerve impinged? 80% of the nerves that come off the spine do not feel pain. So this person has this nerve pinch right here, and yet he feels great. Now this person eventually gets heartburn. What do people do when they get heartburn? Tums. Tums with calcium because it helps prevent osteoporosis. So you pop the Tums. Does it work? Does he feel better? Did he solve the problem?
No.
So 10 years goes by, and this person gets a bleeding ulcer. So he goes to have surgery to repair this hole in his stomach for the bleeding ulcer. And they close the hole. Did they fix his problem?
No.
So 20 years goes by,
It's another one.
and the guy carries a box the wrong way and hurts his back. And the next door neighbor says, hey, come with me to the chiropractor, because everybody thinks we're back pain specialists. So you come into my office for back pain, And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to check your entire spine. Because it's probably the only opportunity that we have to check your entire spine. So this person that came in for back pain, I go checking all the bones, and I see that number 6 thoracic is out of position. And I happen to know that that nerve that comes off the number 6 thoracic goes to the stomach. So the first question I ask is, hey, by any chance, do you have any digestive issues? And usually people on the table, they're like, how'd you know that? I'm like, if I was psychic. I'm not psychic. I just happen to know where the nerves go to. Now, if I can take that bone, and I can adjust that bone, and put it back into position, take the pressure off the nerve, restore communication between the stomach and the brain, is there a possibility that his stomach might work a little bit better? Did I heal him? In reality, I didn't heal him. I don't have magic powers. I don't walk on water. The healing came from his body. By restoring that communication, all of a sudden the organ functioned the way it should have functioned to begin with. So I really do believe that the body has the capabilities or the ability to heal itself as long as everything is functioning properly. So the goal here is, I think of myself more like a telephone repairman. You know, improve the communication, your body will do the rest. When a bone goes out of position, presses on a nerve, I want you to remember this word, because I'm always mentioning in the office. Oh, he said it. I love it. He said subluxation. As a chiropractor, this is what you want to hear. Okay? Subluxation. Chiropractic wants to be very good at identifying that one bone or two bones that are out of position and impinging on the nervous system. It's not about cracking your back. It's not about cracking your neck. It's not always about the massage. It's not about the stretching. If there is a problem on the spine affecting the nervous system, that's what the chiropractic wants to focus on. Okay? Because if the subluxation, instead of going to the stomach, was going to the lungs, maybe this person has bronchitis or asthma. If it's going to the kidneys, maybe they have kidney stones or high blood pressure. If it's going to the large intestine, maybe they have constipation or diarrhea or irritable bowel syndrome. If it's going to the ovaries, maybe they have menstrual cramps, irregularities. If it's going to their legs, maybe they have tingling or pain or numbness into the legs. Their head, headaches, sinus trouble, earaches. You know, sometimes I put this up here and people are like, oh my gosh, chiropractic can treat everything. At the end of the day, chiropractic doesn't treat anything. Chiropractic treats the body. Under the philosophy that if your body works better, if your body works the way it's supposed to be without interference, yeah, we see some wild things happen here. So sometimes people that came to see me for low back pain, all of a sudden their migraines disappeared. You know? Some of the people that came to see me for neck pain, all of a sudden their constipation disappeared. And they're like, what is going on here? And it's just about that if your body starts to work right, sometimes you see the things that your body should have been doing in the first place. Like I tell people, your headaches, I guarantee you, there is not one person in this room, in fact, there's not one person in Miami, that their headache is caused because their body could not produce enough aspirin in the morning. Something's producing that headache. Find the cause. That's my goal. Find the cause, make sure your body's working right. Okay? Now, everybody understands what a subluxation is. Remember how I told you that a subluxation, 80% of the nerves do not feel pain. 80% of the times you're going to have a subluxation, you don't feel a thing. But if that bone is out of alignment, if you guys drove your car with the tires out of alignment, what's going to happen to those tires? They're going to wear out prematurely. So you bought tires that were supposed to last you 50,000 miles, and here it is 15,000 miles and we have no more tires. Well, if your spine is working out of alignment, that particular joint is going to wear out. And on average, it's going to take 15 to 25 years of having these subluxations before we have enough degenerative changes, arthritis, spurs, damages to the disc, herniations, for the person to start feeling pain. So the majority of the time when people walk in the office and say, you know, Dr. Fernandez, I've been having this neck pain for the past week. We come in there, we take an x-ray, and we find changes that tell us you've had a problem for 25, 30 years. We can't reverse arthritis. We can't reverse degeneration. The goal would be is try to correct that and prevent any further loss. I would have rather seen you 30 years ago and prevented the damage from happening. The problem is that too many people think that you go to the chiropractor for neck pain and back pain. People should consider chiropractic like they do the dentist. If you go to the dentist and he checks your teeth and he happens to find a little cavity, but it's not causing you any pain, is it a good idea for him to fix that cavity today or tell you, hey, why don't you come back when that tooth starts to hurt? In chiropractic, it's the same thing. I would rather find your problem before you ever knew it was there. Okay? If you find that you correct it, don't let it build up to the point where it causes a herniation or a spur or something that cannot be reversed. All right? So, we understand the subluxation. Here comes your part. Very important. There are 3 things that can cause these subluxations. Number 1 reason why people come to my office is going to be physical reasons. What does this mean? They got into a car accident. They slipped and fell. They carried a box the wrong way. They sat in a chair in this position because they read it was good for them. They slept on the floor because their next door neighbor told them that it was good for them. Physical is the #1 reason why people walk through the door. Believe it or not, it's probably the one that least concerns me. Why? Because if you had an auto accident yesterday, you came to see me today, how long have you had the problem? One day, piece of cake. If you had an auto accident 20 years ago and you came to see me today, it's a little bit more complicated. All right? This is probably the one that least concerns me. Number 2 and number 3 concern me the most. And the main reason why is because most people don't realize that it could be affecting them. So, what do you think could affect your spine that would not be physical? This is why it scares me. Number 2. Chemical. Now everybody knows that drugs can affect you, and alcohol can affect you, and cigarettes can affect you, and caffeine can affect you. But people don't think about that a chicken, from the day an egg hatches till the chicken is fully grown, takes about 13 months. They have that same chicken in Publix grocery shelves in about 2 months. How do they do that? They tell athletes, don't take steroids, it's going to cause cancer, and they're loading up the food that you're eating with steroids. And I don't want to talk about genetically modified food and the milk that kids are drinking and NutraSweet and Pepsi Cola, and there's a lot of things that we're putting into our body that could potentially be causing some harm. I don't want everybody to walk out of here and become vegetarians. Your vegetables are full of pesticides and the soil is depleted. Okay? Don't go crazy. It's very simple. If you get under care, there was a problem that was located, and we start making a correction, we start adjusting that problem, and you walk out of the office and you come back the next day and you look a little bit better, and we adjust it again and you walk out of the office and you come back the next day and you're improving every time you come in here, more power to you. You might be leaving here and drinking a keg of beer. I'm not going to tell you to stop because you're showing me that you can improve. The concern is when you get an adjustment and you walk out perfectly and you come back 2 days later and it looks like I never touched you. So I adjust you again. You walk out perfectly, you come back 2 days later, it looks like I never touched you. You know, you do this 4 or 5 times, and what's happening is that there's something that's happening when you leave this office that's still creating the subluxation, and unless we identify what's happening, we're never going to correct your problem. So just be aware of it, pay attention to the signs and the signals, and just, if you're improving, no changes. If you're not improving, we will work together to figure out what could be going on. Let me ask you one more question. If it's not physical, and it's not chemical, any other ideas? Oh, wow. There you go. Emotional stress. This, my scariest patient. Bingo. God forbid somebody died in the family. You went through a divorce. You lost all your money. You don't have money to pay the bills. When you get stressed out, how do your muscles get? Your muscles' jobs are to hold those bones in place. Okay? An auto accident. Boom! Takes a second, it's over. The stress of the accident is over. You may have back pain and muscle spasm and broken bones, but the stress is gone immediately. But an emotional stress, that can be with you for days and weeks and months and years. And today it might be the spouse, and tomorrow it's the kids, and the next day it's a job, and it goes building up. If stress causes a subluxation, a lot of the times, if we sleep great at night, your body will relax enough, and your body will try to correct its own subluxations. Your body's a self-healing organism. The problem with stress is that tomorrow you get up and you have the same stress again. And if the next day you have the same stress, before you know it, you may cause a subluxation that stays. It stays locked in the body, becomes a pattern, and now your body accepts that as normal. There's your problem. If the subluxation lands on the 20% of the nerves that feels pain, I actually say thank God. And I hate the fact that you feel bad, but I'm glad you felt it right now. Because if it lands on the 80% of the nerves that doesn't feel pain, then you're going to be the person that's going to walk around for 15, 20, 25 years waiting for a sign or a signal to then realize that it's something that can't be reversed. Okay? So, the subluxation, emotional stress, scariest patient. I'll give you a quick example. We're done here almost. My cousin comes to see me, 20 years of age. Paul comes to see me with sciatica, pain running down the back of his neck, he can barely walk, 20 years of age. So I do an examination, I immediately find a problem in his third lumbar, right in the low back. I take an x-ray, the x-ray confirms everything that I found. Paul, there's your problem, and start fixing it. I would adjust Paul, he'd leave my office perfectly, come back 2 days later, it looks like I never touched him. Adjust him again, leaves perfectly, comes back 2 days later, looks like I never touched him. We did this for about a week, week and a half, so I sit down with Paul. Paul, what's going on? You're not holding the adjustments. No, because at work, I'm always bending, I'm always twisting. I give him a no for light duty. No lifting, no bending, nothing at work. 1 month later, Paul is still not holding his adjustment. I sit down with Paul. Paul, something's happening. You know, we need to figure this out. So Paul finally comes out and breaks down and gives me a little bit of information, which I didn't know. 20 years of age, married, 2 kids, going through a divorce, living in his mother's house. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist. I just figured, you know what, let me take care of him until this stress kind of boils over, and then maybe he'll start improving. So we continue to work with Paul, and about another month and a half has passed by. But in this time, he has made up with his wife. And his wife is coming in to get checked in the office, and she's improving beautifully, and his kids come in to get checked, and they're doing great, and Paul is still not holding an adjustment. So I sit down with Paul and his wife. Guys, can we try to figure out maybe what can be going on here, why he's not holding an adjustment? Paul has no idea what can possibly be affecting him. And his wife comes out and says, is there any way possible that Pepsi Cola can cause a subluxation? I said, how much Pepsi is he drinking every day? Paul was averaging 9 to 11 cans of Pepsi a day. I said, Paul, do me a favor, stop with the Pepsi. In 1 week, his spine started holding position. I had been working for 2.5 months, could not get anywhere. And the moment we put Pepsi out of his diet, I'm not blaming Pepsi. He might have been drinking 10 glasses of orange juice a day. Okay? If there's something that's affecting your body, it's going to be very hard to hold an adjustment. Likewise, let's turn the tables. Let's say you are improving. Every single day you come in here, you're looking better, you're looking better, you're looking better, and all of a sudden you come in one day and you're a mess. That day we are going to ask you questions. Hey, what happened? What was different? Did you eat anything different? Did you drink anything different? Did you have a stressful situation? I don't want people to think, because every time I ask them a question, they always think physical. Oh, yesterday I carried my purse on the left arm instead of the right arm. You know, everybody's always thinking physical. What happened in your life? Because you might come out and say, well, I ate some peanut butter, and you know what? I'm going to put it in your nose. Ate peanut butter. Might not be it, but I'm going to put it in the nose. 6 months later, you come in one day and you're a mess. Hey, what happened yesterday? Anything different? No, not that. By any chance, did you eat peanut butter? Yeah, how'd you know? Because the last time you ate peanut butter, the same thing happened to you. We take the peanut butter out of your diet. You know, different things like that. Pay attention to everything. Let's say, for example, you've eaten Burger King your whole life. See how I pick on Burger King now instead of McDonald's? So you eat every day Burger King for lunch. You love that that Whopper. And now, all of a sudden, you start getting adjusted. And you go to Burger King, and every time you eat a Whopper, you get heartburn and indigestion. What do you think your body's trying to tell you? Don't eat the Whopper, okay? It's not, don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me because all of a sudden your body feels bad when you're eating Burger King, you really want to eat that Whopper. Pay attention to the things that your body should have been telling you from day one. All right? I'm not going to tell you that you have to sleep with one pillow on a hard mattress. I want you to pay attention to your body. Once we start clearing out your nervous system. Maybe your whole life you slept with 5 pillows, and now you start getting adjusted, and you're not comfortable anymore. Try 4 pillows. Try 1 pillow. Try 10 pillows. Okay? Look for the comfort as soon as your body starts to clear out. Maybe your whole life you have crossed your leg, and all of a sudden you start getting adjusted, and all of a sudden your leg starts maybe going a little bit numb or falling asleep when you cross it. Your body's telling you, uncross that leg. Pay attention to the signals. It's not about ignoring them. It's not about trying to numb them out with a pill or an aspirin. It's about maybe listening to the signals that you weren't paying attention to before, or you weren't getting before.
So is it then that because you are getting treated in the sense that you are fixing the spine, your body is rejecting what was not being rejected before?
Exactly. Just because you were able, that patient that walks in my office every single time, that patient that walks in my office and tells me something like, I can eat rocks, nothing ever affects me, or better yet, the guy that says, I haven't been sick in 20 years, first of all, I'm scared half to death for him, because his body has never rejected anything. It's held all those toxins in there, something's going to happen. That patient, usually within the first month of care, will have one of the worst colds that he has had in 20 years. And it's not that I mean him worse. It's that by the body producing all those symptoms, he's actually detoxifying, he's rejecting the stuff that he should have rejected in the first place. So if people got to understand this, so I usually have to tell those people so they expect it. Because if I don't, they're going to say, oh my gosh, I went to the chiropractor, he made me so sick. It's not making you sick, it's about cleansing out.
So subluxation is what? It's like a detoxification?
Subluxation is the actual misalignment in your spine,
right,
that's creating the interference on the nervous system.
which then your body detoxifies or gets rid of.
When you correct it with an
Correct.
adjustment,
Yes.
okay, so you had that subluxation impinging on the nerve.
Correct.
You correct the subluxation, you restore communication between the
That's
brain and the end
correct.
organ, and all of a sudden that area
Right.
should start functioning a
Yes.
little bit better than what it was doing before. Okay? So when I tell people this, because one is I want you to understand what to expect when you start getting these subluxations corrected. Because everybody, if they came in here for neck pain or back pain, if I don't explain this to them, all they're focusing on is, hey, when my neck pain, back pain gonna go away? They're not thinking about that all of a sudden my blood pressure maybe started dropping a little bit, you know? Or all of a sudden I'm, you know, every time I eat sugar, I'm getting more and more signs and symptoms that something's wrong. Stay away from the sugar. Pay attention to all the little signals that your body's giving you. Maybe you used to drink 2 glasses of water a day and now you're drinking 10. My wife's, there was an interesting story. My wife's aunt, 22 years ago when I started practicing, I was doing this orientation just like this, and she's sitting in the waiting room when we had started, and she goes, oh, if I listened to my body, I would never drink water because I'm never thirsty. This is how my orientation started. Well, she came to see me with low back pain. She was a school teacher. I started treating her, but it was interesting because I found the number 9 thoracic, which is one of the nerves that goes partially to your kidneys. And I started correcting that area also, in addition to what I was doing in her low back. Within a week of care, she was taking a gallon of water every single day to school. 1 gallon of water, drinking a gallon of water every single day. Now, because her body started asking her for water, her constipation started subsiding. She had never told me about constipation day one. Her headaches, she had never told me about headaches, started subsiding. Her blood pressure started dropping. All of these things started occurring just because her body started asking her for water. Her back pain took about 3 months to go away, but everything else started changing in the first week of care. So sometimes when I bring this up, it's just, I want you to understand, I'm going to treat the whole body. It's not just about the neck pain and the back pain. The neck pain and the back pain are just protecting the area that we really want to get to. Okay? Any questions? Everybody understand this pretty much?
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question. Based on what I've said here tonight, who do you think should have their spines checked for subluxation?
Everybody.
I bring this up because one of the criticisms that I hear outside from people that don't understand what chiropractic is, oh, but the chiropractors want everybody to go in there. Listen, I take care of my wife, my parents, my in-laws, my children, everybody that I love, I'm taking care of. I'm not going to say something just because I want you to accept me or put me into your country club. I want you to understand the reason why I'm checking my children. Okay? And I think that if you understand the reason and the logic, you'll realize that everybody should get checked. Let me ask you another question. How long should a person continue to get checked for? That's the second criticism. Oh, the chiropractor wants you to go forever. I'm not here to hold you with a ball and chain. But let me ask you a question. If I fixed 100% of your problems, which I wish I could do it, it doesn't happen in adults, I'm sorry. Most adults have had problems since they were kids, and you're not going to get 100% correction. I'll make you feel great, but there's always going to be, in children, you get a lot of correction, very close to 100%. But let's say I fixed 100% of your problem. Is there a possibility that from here to next month, you might eat something that could affect you? Or you might have an emotional stress that could affect you. Or you might do something physically that could affect you. Absolutely. So to me, yes, we want to fix a person's problem as much as we can. But once we fix it, what do we got to do to just preserve it, maintain it? It's a lot easier to maintain your health than try to regain your health. Okay? Once we lose health, a lot of times there are a lot of permanent things that are happening. It's a lot easier to maintain somebody's health than it is to try to regain it after it's gone. So I wish everybody got their spines checked. And if there is a subluxation, do whatever you can to fix it today. Now, there are a lot of people that maybe have been to chiropractors. Okay? I don't like to talk about my profession, but there's probably a lot of chiropractors that I wouldn't go to. But what ends up happening is that if a person goes to a medical doctor, and the medical doctor makes a mistake, gives you the wrong prescription, almost kills you, what's going to happen is when you get out of the hospital, you're going to say, man, that guy was an idiot. He almost killed me. And you're going to go down the street to the next medical doctor. You're going to look for a different doctor. But a lot of times people maybe have gone to a chiropractor, tried chiropractic, and didn't have the responses that they expected. And they say, oh, chiropractic didn't work for me. I already tried it. Every doctor is different. Every single one. Okay? There are hundreds of techniques. Most chiropractors use one. We were kind of technique gurus. We have about 10 techniques that we use in the office. But if somebody doesn't respond to the techniques that we're using, I'm going to tell you, listen, I want you to go down the street and try this other chiropractor who uses an 11th technique that I don't have. Because the philosophy of chiropractic works. We just got to find the right art to work for the patient that's in front of us. Okay? I'm closing out. We talked about health. All right? If we want to be healthy, these are the 5 phases that we need to, the 5 factors that we need to complete to be healthy. You really want to be healthy? Nutrition. You are what you eat. Here's nutrition 101. Simple as it gets. If it didn't swim, walk, fly, or grow out of the earth, chances are you shouldn't be eating it. If it didn't swim, walk, fly, or grow out of the earth, don't touch it. Now, chicken, yeah, chicken ran around. A chicken nugget, that's not chicken anymore. So what I'm trying to say is that the more we process food, the less we should ever have it. Rice, oh my God, does rice get a bad rap? Oh, rice, starch is going to make me fat. Brown rice has minerals and fiber, and as long as you're having a starch with fiber, the fiber helps to neutralize the starch that you're eating. But some genius decided to take that brown rice and run it through some bleached water, so all of a sudden they come up with this beautiful white rice. And then somebody else decided to puff it up, thank you Uncle Ben, and then somebody decided to make it yellow. By the time you have that yellow rice, you're having cardboard. If you're going to eat food, eat it in its most original state as possible. You're not going to have too many problems. Okay? It's not that difficult. Original state, nutrition. Number 2, exercise. If you don't use it, you lose it. Period. We live in a lazy society. You go to the mall, you're going to see people driving around the parking lot for 15 minutes looking for the closest parking spot to the front door because they don't want to walk across the parking lot. Then they get home and they have their remote controls and they get in the buildings, they have the escalators and the elevators. We live in a lazy society. If you don't take the time to exercise, women are being so frightened right now with osteoporosis, and I'm telling you, it's going to get worse. Because at the end of the day, we build bone till we're about 28, and then we start losing it. And the way we build bone is if you have strong physical activity, we build a mountain of calcium. And if you continue to exercise, you start losing that mountain very slowly. But if you never exercise, you have a little hill of calcium. And if you don't exercise, you're going to lose that hill very rapidly. So the less physical we are, women, because their density is less than men, that's the only reason why they get it before us, the faster that calcium is going to leave the body. It's not about you drinking more calcium. I don't know why they say that. You take anybody with osteoporosis, you measure their blood, it's full of calcium. It's just not going back into the bone. You put a 20-year-old man in a coma, come back in 6 months and you can break his arm. He has osteoporosis because he wasn't moving.
But,
exercise.
But wouldn't that jerking and so on, movement of exercise, you would go back out of, you wouldn't be aligned again? I mean,
that's very, very good question. She's saying that if we are actually moving around, can we create more misalignments? I would much rather, I have seen much better results in my football players, my wrestlers, my gymnasts, than I see in the couch potatoes or the people who are not moving. Okay? The muscle integrity will help hold the bones in position. And your body actually heals a lot better as long as you're active. Now, if you have had a problem for many years, the muscles are used to that old position.
right.
And when we initiate a correction program, sometimes if you immediately jump back into the routine that you had, you can cause the bone to go back out to what it was used to. So sometimes I will take a person and maybe tell them, hey, I need you to avoid the exercise for 2 or 3 weeks, and then we're going to reinitiate the exercise after that to try to train the muscles to hold a new position. So it is true. But at the end of the day, when everything's going good, I need you to be active. And I would love a combination of cardio, which means heart health, with muscular.
Yeah.
I will put people into the gym. I want you doing physical activity. You have to really move those muscles. All right? Nutrition, exercise. Number 3, sleep. I am not here to tell you how you have to sleep 8 hours a night. It's not my job. I am interested in you acquiring what's called deep REM sleep. The quality of your sleep is what I'm interested in. If a child falls asleep in the car, you pick him up out of the car, bring him inside the house, throw him in the bed, take off his clothes, put on his pajama, and the kid never woke up. That's sleeping. If you spend all night tossing, turning, thinking, dreaming, I don't care if you spend 12 hours in bed, you're going to get up more tired than you were when you went to bed. When we reach that deep, deep REM sleep, your body revitalizes. It regenerates the cells. Okay? Your body is healing when you're in that deep sleep. So I want the type of person that closes their eyes and all of a sudden the alarm sounded, wow, that was it? That's sleep. Number 4, we need to have a positive mental attitude. This is huge. Too many people are worried about everybody else's problems. And the way I look at it is when it comes to healthcare, you need to be selfish. You need to think about yourself first. The best example I can give people is, imagine an airplane. You jump in an airplane, stewardess comes out and says, we're going to be flying at 30,000 feet today. If the cabin decompresses for whatever reasons, oxygen masks are going to fall in front of you. I don't care if you're with your kids, with your parents, with your spouse. What are you supposed to do with that mask?
Put on yourself first.
Put yours on first. If you try to help your kids and you pass out, you're not going to help anybody. Put yours on first. Take care of yourself first. And then as long as you're healthy, you can help 20 people around you. And this is why I think everybody should approach your life, because at the end of the day, if you break down, you just become a nuisance to everybody else. Okay? Be selfish. Take care of yourself, and then you can worry about everybody else's problems. The last one. You need to have a clear nervous system. This is all I was talking about here today. And I know I'm kind of being very specific when I talk about the body and I say a clear nervous system. But if you go into Grey's Anatomy, not the TV show, there's actually a book. It's called Grey's Anatomy. It's like the medical Bible. And you look up the nervous system, it's going to tell you that the nervous system is in charge of every other system in the body.